Welcome back, Bulldogs. My name is Santia Rogers, Senior Accounting Major and Vice President of NABA AAMU.
And my name is Maris Malel, Senior Finance Major and President of NABA AAMU.
And we are
Breaking Down Business.
We are currently in Atlanta, Georgia at the National Association of Black Accountants Regional Conference. Students, young professionals, recruiters, and senior talent, and more are here to network, give opportunities, and get opportunities. Today we have the Chair of Division of Firms and founder of Benford Brown, Kimi Ellen. And we also have William Taylor, the founder and president of Taylor CPA and Associates. Thank you guys for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, we are NABA A&M, and our School of Business students want to know a little bit more about you. So we'll start with some career inspiration, and we'll go into, can you help us navigate your corporate journey to entrepreneurship, and tell us some skills and motivations that kept you consistent?
So I founded my firm, Benford Brown and Associates. We're based out of Chicago. However, we have employees in about 9 different states right now. So with the ability to be virtual, we're able to find talent wherever they are. And so our firm has been around for 28 years, founded in my mother's basement. And I was just basically preparing tax returns and doing a little bit of accounting. And within 2 years, I had to leave my corporate job because my business had grown so much. And so now I do consulting, I do advisory services, and then I do assurance services, so audit. And then we do taxes for our corporate clients. So we don't do individual taxes anymore, but we do taxes for our corporate clients. Yep.
Okay. I'm William, and thank y'all for the invitation. In terms of the journey, we've been in business, we're approaching 25 years, but I started with a firm called Arthur Anderson. They are no longer here. You know, if y'all study the Enron scandal, you'll understand why. But the firm now is Accenture in terms of, it exists, just a new name. But when I was at Anderson, I've kind of always had a passion for wealth creation. And there's not a perfect fit in the larger firms in terms of that part of the profession at that time. So I needed to learn the financial statement basics, and then I needed to learn the tax process, not the compliance, but the rules, the regulations, the Internal Revenue Code, and then be able to apply that. So as I was getting through that situation, doing a lot of research at Anderson and then assisting in other areas, after about 3 years, I felt like I had what I needed and sat with my boss, and we realized I didn't. So I went to a smaller firm because in that large environment, what we did was put pieces of things together. At the smaller firm, I started it and finished it. And if I put a piece together, it was an integral part of that piece. So you had to do it start to finish. I hope that makes sense. Absolutely. So after 3 and 3, I started my firm so that I can get with people and businesses. I chose to deal with mostly licensed professionals, physicians, dentists, architects, engineers, insurance, wealth management, et cetera, and take them on their journey between the business, personal, and then in most cases their family, and use the code to start their wealth creation process. So that's how I got to what I'm doing. It's mostly because it wasn't offered in the environment I was in. And I wanted to be passionate, and I also wanted to do something that I do for myself. So one of the things clients benefit from is that everything I tell them, I actually do it first.
So, I guess to go into a little bit further detail, as entrepreneurs, walk us through some of your daily responsibilities and then ways you lead different teams.
So daily, of course, I start my day by checking my emails, looking at my schedule to see what's on my daily calendar. I then need to meet with staff to make sure that they have what they need to be doing for the day. Do they need anything from me? And then the majority of my day I'm spending on meetings, which, and then in between the meetings, I have people running in and out of my office asking questions, things like that. But you also have to take some time every day to do admin, some kind of admin task for your firm, because there's just always something to be done, whether you're doing your own internal accounting or maybe I am interviewing a prospective hire. I may meet with my HR person to talk to her about any HR issues that we want to either have soon or maybe trainings. I also plan in listening to William, I try and do wealth creation for my firm as well. So I do lunch and learns with my staff. And basically we talk about different ideas for wealth creation. So it just depends on what time, what part of the day it is. But usually every day I'm talking to a client, I'm meeting with staff, and then I'm doing something admin.
Basically everything Kimmy said. And then we're also putting out other people's fires, not just your own, because you're viewed by the client and the staff members as the end all be all. You're the final answer. So a lot of times when there's dispute resolution, even if they can handle it, because everything rests on your shoulders, you're pretty much having to get involved in that too. And then all that other stuff she said.
So when putting out other people's fires, that can get a little bit difficult. So what are some ways you guys use to incorporate a healthy work-life balance?
We have a work-life balance. You honestly, you have to plan the balance. If you allow your calendar to take over, you won't ever have a balance. And so I plan different things to give me a work-life balance. I plan vacations. I make him take vacations because he won't do it. But no, I plan to do things. So I'll plan a lunch with a friend. I'll plan, even on the weekends, I'll plan a brunch with a friend so that I can make sure that I'm not just working. Because if I'm at home, I'll still be working. So I have to actually, and people go, how do you get so much done? Because pretty much all day I'm thinking about what else needs to be done, what else needs to be done. And so I have to stop and read my book, or I try and start every day with some form of exercise, because that allows me to kind of clear my mind. But you have to literally put it in your schedule like an appointment to have that work-life balance.
And I feel like I have work-life balance, even though to those on the outside, sometimes it seems that I don't, because I really enjoy what I'm doing. Again, that's why I made this journey in the first place. I'm taking a passion of mine. I grew up on a shrimp boat. I only want to go back to that boat for recreation. I'm not ashamed of it because it created the work ethic. But I want to create generational wealth for me and my family and my kids. And that doesn't mean it has to be hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. My version of it is just, how much money do I not want to have to work for? And whatever that is, I set that standard in my family. And if they don't like the standard, they could change it when they're grown and in position to change it. But I think because I'm passionate about what I do, the work-life balance is there. Now, when I absolutely need a break, like Kimi said, it's on my calendar, it's on my schedule, I'm hooking my boat up and I'm going fishing. But I don't play golf or tennis. So I've gotten contracts taking people fishing. Same contracts you get playing golf and tennis, because we don't fish rivers and streams. We fish coastlines and oceans. So it's one of the reasons I live where I live. I can hook up at 3 a.m. I'm in the water at 6:30, catching the snapper, the trout, all that stuff you buying at the store. I'm catching that just by burning a little gas. So my work-life balance is my work. So I think I'm good. I find myself explaining it more to people on the outside, But then I'm always saying, but you don't really understand. They're like, nah, you're in denial. No, you don't really understand. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. And I do buy my fish at the store. I didn't buy the boat though, so you give what you take.
Get
So,
on my schedule.
yeah, we'll talk about it. So, what are some stylish tips or hacks that you guys have for future corporate professionals? I see you really put together and you got it going on.
So, I grew up in public accounting. He was at Anderson, I was at Deloitte. And I remember specifically, and I'm in Chicago, right? So it gets cold in the wintertime. And I remember one time we had a polar vortex and it was 40 degrees below zero with the wind chill, right? It was cold, like that's cold, cold. And we got a memo that the women were allowed to wear pants for that week. And I said then, if I ever get my own firm, people can really, yeah. So now we live in an environment, though, that's more business casual. Like then, I had to wear a suit every single day. And it had to be a skirt suit every single day. But now, because people are business casual, and a lot of times you're also mainly on Zoom meetings or Teams meetings. So of course, every firm, you're going to have a dress code. Because if you don't, people will just kind of take advantage, right? But we just want to make sure that people aren't wearing T-shirts and that, that the men are wearing collared shirts. It doesn't have to be a dress shirt, but at least a polo. And then, you want to, we're a black firm, so you wear your hair how you want to wear your hair. There's like when I was at Deloitte, my hair had to be like this, because it's just that's how it was. But now, I love that we all have our natural styles. So I might have braids one, time, and then or I wear curly or whatever. But we do have a dress code though, so you can't wear like short shorts and things like that. In the summertime though, people will wear, they're very casual. We wear jeans a lot. But you just don't know it from the waist up because I might have on a jacket and a tank underneath or something. But you want to make sure that you're looking professional, that you're groomed. You don't want to look like you just rolled out of bed in a white T-shirt. And you want to make sure that you are presenting yourself in the way that you want to be seen. So if you're dressing for success, it's because you're destined for success.
I agree with all of that again. My style tip would just be, I consult. I'm always the oldest person in the firm. So I consult with staff, I watch them, and we just make sure we're not offending anyone. This is not offending anybody. Even though, to Kimmy's point, what you see me with right now, I could not wear this at my first job. It had to be blue, black, or charcoal gray. So as soon as I started my firm, I put brown in the family of my suits. And see, those are things that y'all may or may not experience, which kind of help shape how we do things. But I try to rely on some of y'all, some of the people in between y'all and in between me, and then we make it work. So you're not going to wear anything with somebody's name going across a certain part of your body. We're not going to do that. We have a 8 to 5 dress code. We have an after 5 dress code. And then we have a weekend dress code. But all of that's been determined by our staff people. And on the weekends, it's pretty much, if it makes us frown, if it makes anybody frown, male, female, young, old, mature, whatever, let's make a note of that when we're working out the real dress code. So you pretty much see everything you can possibly see on a weekend if you're in the firm. Some people, because we have a flexible policy, some people may use some of their time on a weekend instead of during the week, especially when they have kids.
So, as chair of DOF, could you explain what is DOF and where do you see it going?
So DOF was started in 1986. Ramona Pearson, who was the chair of NABA at the time, met with some of the firm owners, black CPA firm owners, and they started, it was called NABA DOF, Division of Firms. We then kind of morphed into our own organization. We became actually the diverse organization of firms because we wanted to keep the DOF acronym. We've since though rejoined NABA. And so, but what DOF is, we are the national organization of Black CPA and Black financial service firms. So that means that we run the gamut. So we do anything that a CPA would do, we have a firm that probably does it. Right? So whether it's tax, audit, consulting, government contracting, we do a lot of consulting and a lot of audit and a lot of tax. But some firms, they only do one or two things. Some firms do all four of the gamut. And what we basically do, we meet twice a year. At our practice management conference, it's in this year. It's in Miami Beach. We've been in Miami Beach for the last 6 or 7 years, and so basically, I know. So basically, what we do is we have classes that help us better our firms. So it's not a technical class, like you're not going to go and learn the new tax code, but you may learn some great new software that the other firms are using. And so let's talk about that software. Let's see if it works. William also does a series of using your firm to grow generational wealth. And so we talk about different things that you as a firm owner can do to build your wealth, build your family's wealth, but you do it through your firm ownership. And we also have a second conference called RGI, Ralph Grant Institute. And that's our technical CPE. So that's where we get our audit classes and our some tax, but mostly audit classes, so that our staff are in compliance with CPE requirements for people that are doing audits. You know, you have to, especially if you're doing government or nonprofit audits, you have to have 24 hours of nonprofit audit or accounting. So we get about half of that just from the RGI. But we meet probably maybe twice a year virtually as well. But what we really do is we share ideas and we share business opportunities. We go to market together, and we merge. We have a couple of firms that have merged, and so we're basically doing whatever we can to elevate our firms, grow up, scale up, and develop our people. Yeah.
Thank you again, Kimi and William, for joining our podcast. Again, we are Alabama A&M in Atlanta, Georgia, at the NABA Regional Conference. Thank you.